I just got a new heat press delivered to me. This time it is a hat press, and honestly, I have never used a hat press before, so I'm really excited to try this out with you today. If we're just meeting right now, hi, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest. So HTVRONT just sent me this hat press, and when I got it at my front door, I picked it up when all the packaging was still on it. I'm like, this is so light, this can't be a heat press. This is just over 2 pounds, so super light. So we'll see how it does on some hat projects. Let's open up the box and see what's inside. So we have the user manual here, and I'll have to read through that. And let's pull out the packaging. Looks like it's packaged really well. I bet you most of the weight was this cardboard. We've got our pressing mat here, and it looks like we have a drawstring bag to store it in, so that's really nice. This material is so soft. All right, we'll put that to the side. So on here it says ironing mat, so I'm guessing our hat will go on top of this, and it feels really well made. It has a nice firmness to it. And then looks like here is our actual press. So let's open this up, and I'm gonna move this box out of the way. All right, we got these little clamps here. I'll open this up. Some popping bubbles. I love these things. And oh look, I got the mint colored one. That's the color I was hoping for, so super excited. This actually comes in red and white, and I believe lavender as well. I actually love this color, and it matches my mat right here. So let's undo this cord, and there it is. I just love this color. Look how cute this is. It is so sweet. And I'm guessing this is where we put it on our stand, so you're not leaving it on your desk to melt anything. So this is really neat here. So the heating plate here is about 5 by 5 inches by 2.4, which will probably work for most hats, and I'm sure you can use it with different styles of hats as well. So I'm gonna read the manual, and then we'll test this out. So I've plugged the hat press in. I haven't turned it on yet, but we do need to assemble our press. So we have our little plastic piece here, and then we've got our padding that we need to put on top. And there's these little bungee straps here, and these just go around the hooks. All right, that was pretty easy. So I have 3 different hats I want to do. This is the first one. I got this off a clearance rack, and when I got it home, I realized why it's on clearance. The seam at the front isn't the greatest, but we're gonna try this out anyways. And I thought red was great for Canada Day, so that's what we're gonna start with. So I cut this Canada A decal out on my Cricut, and we're gonna attach that to the hat. So I'm just using regular vinyl for this first hat. We're gonna try some sublimation and glitter vinyl with the other hats. So let's turn this on. So I'm gonna turn the power button on. Then we're gonna press the set button here to adjust our temperature. So right now it's in Fahrenheit. If you wanted it to be in Celsius, you would just hold that button for 3 seconds. And now it's in Celsius. I'm gonna turn it back to Fahrenheit. So now it's back to Fahrenheit, and we can adjust our temperature with the up and down buttons here. So let's set this. I'm gonna go up here, and I have it set at 295. And this thing seems to be heating up really quickly. I'm already at 230, so this will heat up quite fast. And then you can also set the time. So instead of pressing the set button once, we're gonna press it twice. So right now it's set at 20 seconds, but I'm gonna put that down to 15, and it looks like it goes in increments of 5. So now I have it set at 15 seconds. And look, we've reached our desired temperature already. That was super fast. I'm gonna put this down. And one misconception a lot of people may have is you think you have to put your hat on this way, but actually we are gonna put it on this way. So let me figure this out here. Let's set it like this. Okay. So you have the bill of the hat like facing up at this top cushion piece here. I'm gonna try to get that over there so I have a nice flat surface to work with. so that looks pretty good. Mine's kind of on an angle. In the book, it shows it going more straight up, but I find there's more of a gap between the hat and this, so it's really going to depend on, I guess, the hat you're using. So right here, I feel like I've got a nice surface to work with. So now I'm just going to preheat this for about 5 seconds. I should actually probably run a lint roller over top of it as well, so I'm going to do that. All right, so let's place my little vinyl decals on here. Put my leaf over here, and we've got the word A, and this doesn't seem to be sticking too well. So I've got some heat resistant tape here. I'm just gonna tape this on. All right, I've got my designs sticking on there now. So now we're gonna heat this up. So you have to press the power button for 2 seconds in order for the countdown to start. So I'm gonna put this on here. All right, press my power button, 1, 2, and my countdown has started, and I'm just gonna go over the designs here. All right, my countdown is done. All right, let's wait for this to cool for a second, and then we can peel off our carrying sheet and see what this looks like. Now, it looks like I'm able to see the texture of the material through my vinyl, so that means it has been stuck on there well, but I am noticing it looks like I missed the bottom of the maple leaf here because it's lifting up. So I'm just gonna go over that piece for a few more seconds. I'm not gonna use a countdown. I'll just quickly do that here. All right, it looks like I have that piece stuck down now. So let's see how this looks. And it looks like my vinyl is not quite sticking yet. I feel like I need to do that longer. Inside the manual, it recommends pressing for 15 seconds, but I feel like this needs a little more time. So I'm gonna do it for maybe another 15 seconds. So let's try that out. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh, there is my maple leaf. And then it says A there. And it looks like it's on there pretty good, so I'm happy with that. And this is just such a nice surface to press on. Definitely better than trying to do a hat on a flat surface. And I'm all ready for Canada Day. What do you think? All right, let's do our next hat. This time we're gonna do glitter heat transfer vinyl and see how that turns out. So I'm gonna change the heat setting this time because we are using glitter. So I'm going to change this to 300 degrees, just a little hotter, and we'll let that warm up, and we've reached our temperature already. That is just so fast. This thing heats up super fast. I love that. And we'll try the 15 seconds again, but I have a feeling the glitter will need more than 15 seconds. We'll see what happens. So we'll put that down there. So here's the other discount hat I got. I still have to take that tag off there. And we'll use the lint roller on this and get our hat on our pressing mat here. All right, like I said before, I kind of have it slanted slightly forward, not going straight up and down. And I really think that depends on the hat you are using. So I'm gonna preheat this for 5 seconds. I'm just gonna count to 5 rather than setting a timer. And I've got my glitter there. Let's see if we can line this up. I'm a little worried about that seam in the middle. Not sure how it's gonna do. And that's why I'm using glitter for this hat. If you use regular heat transfer vinyl, you may really see that seam there in the middle, but I'm hoping the glitter will help compensate for that. All right, I think that's center there, but I'm definitely gonna need to put some heat resistant tape on that so it doesn't move around. The last thing you want is your design moving around while you're pressing it. All right, that is on there. So let's see how this does. Let's put this on here, hold that power button for 2 seconds again, and my countdown is on. And I'm just going back and forth here. Let me see if I can show you the countdown. There's the countdown. And our countdown is finished, but I have a feeling this isn't done. Like I can still see it lifting a bit in the corners. So I'm gonna do this again for another 15 seconds because I just have a feeling 15 seconds is not long enough. Now, if you're wondering, this hat is made up of 80% polyester and only 20% cotton, meaning I could probably sublimate on this material because it is mainly polyester, but for now I am doing vinyl. All right, this has cooled down a little bit, so let's see how we did. Oh, look at that. It is so shiny and so pretty. But my vinyl is not completely stuck on there because I feel like it's lifting up in a few spots. So I'm gonna grab some parchment paper here because I removed my carrying sheet, and I'm just gonna press that for maybe another 5 seconds. All right, that is looking much better. And I feel like it is on there. And if you look at the eye here that's going over the seam, like you can't even tell, like you can't see that seam through that. So that's really cool. The thing I was worried about didn't really matter. So I'm really happy with that. All right, and here's my next hat, ready to shine in the sun. For our last hat we're gonna try sublimation, and I'm a little nervous about this one, but I really wanted to try it so I could show you how it works on sublimation. So let's check it out. So here is the hat we're gonna be sublimating. I got this one, and yes, I paid full price for this one. It is specifically for sublimation, so I'm really hoping this hat will work. And this hat doesn't have a seam going through the middle, which is awesome. So let's use that lint roller again and get this hat on here. So for this hat here, for this style, it looks like we have the hat going straight up rather than on an angle like we did with the other hats. I'm gonna preheat my material again for about 5 seconds. And here's the sublimation design I printed out on my sublimation printer. And yes, it's backwards right now, but once we put it on, it will be the right way. So I need to tape this on here. I'm gonna rip a bit more here off the bottom so that it's not going over the bill of my hat. I don't really want to get any creases in my design. And we'll tape that into place. I'm also going to use a piece of butcher paper and tape that on top. And with sublimation, you don't want to move your press around too much because we could get some ghosting. So I'm not sure how well this is going to turn out, whether this is going to cover the whole design. It might, but I may have to move it back and forth just a little bit so it gets the ends. So I really want to make sure that design is stuck on there well so that I don't get that ghosting. To be honest, I'm a little nervous here. I just really hope this turns out. This time we're gonna set the press to 380. So we're turning this right up. So we've reached our desired temperature. Our button has turned green. I forgot to set the time here. So let's double click our set button and we're gonna change that to 20 seconds. And then let's try this out. I'm so nervous. All right, let's hold that power button for 2 seconds. All right, we are counting down. I'm trying to hold this still, but I feel like I have to move it back and forth to get those edges. I'm gonna do this very carefully. All right, so we're actually doing this for 40 seconds, not 20 seconds. That's my mistake, I read that wrong. So, oh, and my butcher paper is just lifting up there. It's not sticking too well. Oh, I am so nervous. I don't know if this is gonna work. All right, so if we lift up the butcher paper here, looks like my design is still stuck on there well. So that wasn't moving around. I just had my butcher paper moving around a little bit. And if I look closely, I think it transferred. Let's take a peek. Let's do this really carefully. I'm so nervous here. Oh, it's not quite transferred there on the edge, and I can tell. So I'm gonna press it a little longer and get those edges. I hopefully put that back down in the right place. So let's do this a little longer because I don't want to be disappointed. And this time I'll make sure my press gets right to the ends. The instructions also recommend that you do firm pressure. So whether you're using vinyl or sublimation, make sure you're putting a lot of pressure on this. I'm thinking that's why my heat transfer vinyl didn't stick that well the first time, because I didn't put a whole lot of pressure on. So make sure you are giving this some firm pressure. Okay, the moment of truth. I am so nervous here. Okay, so it did bleed through a little bit. You can see we have some of the ink on this paper here. So I'm glad I used the butcher paper on top, because otherwise you would get ink on your press and you really don't want that. Let's peel this edge. All right, and it's pretty faded. It looks like I could have definitely pressed it longer and harder, but if you like the faded look, that kind of worked out. So I think I'm gonna have to practice. That's definitely my error, not the press's error. So if you're doing sublimation, make sure you give it a lot of pressure. I don't think I was giving it a lot of pressure at first. And I would definitely do longer than 40 seconds. Normally when I do sublimation on shirts or other materials, I do longer than 40 seconds. So I feel like the 40 seconds is not long enough. The hat still looks kind of fun. It kind of has that worn look, which I like. It goes well with this hat, but I would have liked it to be a little darker. So another thing about this press, it has an automatic shut off. So if you were to leave this alone in your craft room for 15 minutes because you got distracted, it's automatically gonna shut off. And that is such a great safety feature to have, because you know how easy it is to get distracted. All right, let me know which one was your favorite hat. Do you like the sublimation, or we've got the glitter, or the regular heat transfer vinyl? These were all so much fun to make, but I do recommend pressing a little longer than the suggested time. I also recommend firm pressure. I don't think I was giving it enough pressure at first when I started out. So give it some pressure and maybe an extra 5 seconds of the suggested time, and you'll get great results. This was such a fun little press to use, and I can't wait to make more hats, especially during the summer months. But I'm sure you could put some winter toques on there as well and get some designs on your winter hats. If you're interested in learning more about HTVRONT's heat presses, I also have their auto press and their tumbler press, which I absolutely love using. I have videos on those as well, so go check those out. And I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.